though was the Vader Samurai emote, the little TIE Fighter. If you expected a regular TIE Fighter to show up, well, you're wrong, because Epic very cleverly made this match the Samurai theme. And this was done by making the TIE Fighter into a hot air balloon, perfectly combining with Star Wars and Japanese culture. And another themed collab for this season was none other than Cyberpunk, which also has a very cool secret detail of its own for those paying close attention. When using the horn of the Cyberpunk car, you won't help but notice that it actually plays this custom sound, which is different from the regular Whiplash vehicles, and the sound in question is taken directly from the Cyberpunk game itself, making the vehicle extremely accurate. And as you drive around in a vehicle, you may come across a strange sight. With Winterfest decorations taking over the entire map, little gingerbread cookies can be found all around, spreading the Winterfest Christmas spirit, but also a lot of mischief. Near the beach, you can actually see two that have waged war on the robots around the Chapter 6 map by burying one of their own in the sand. And of course, this could be a small storyline callback to other ones like the Bears vs. Gnomes that took place in Chapter 2 that we could be seeing make a return in a new form. Something else that was in Chapter 2 though can be found on one of Epic's new game modes. Because while the new Ballistic mode might be a realistic first-person shooter, in order to compete with other games in the same genre, only a few have noticed that it has a secret Easter egg that directly ties it to the Battle Royale storyline. That's right, not only is this mode's map based on the current Chapter 6 Japan-themed map, but if you take a closer look at the game's Rift device, you'll notice that it's actually a small part of Kevin the Cube. And that's just one of many references in Chapter 6, because Fortnite actually tried to steal the spotlight from one of the most anticipated games ever. We all know GTA 6 is going to be releasing soon, and the hype around the game is pretty massive. So Epic took this opportunity to advertise their brand new Brick Life mode, which is basically a GTA recreation except PG and Lego. They did that by creating a theme teaser nearly identical to that of GTA 6 with the palm trees, the colors, and let me just say it's an incredibly clever marketing decision. But something else that's incredible is Fortnite's oldest villain returning. Let me explain. Well, in Lego Fortnite, they've actually resolved one of the biggest problems within the game, which was having no actual ending, like the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. So what better final boss for them to add other than the Storm King and his biome, a reference to both Save the World and the limited time event that took place in Battle Royale in Fortnitemares 2019. But back in Battle Royale, one of the most beloved additions of Chapter 6 was the giant turtle found near the islands of Wetlands. Except now he has mysteriously vanished. People thought that Timmy the turtle was dead, but it turns out that isn't the case at all. He can actually be found in different locations around the map as it constantly keeps moving with each game. And while looking for the giant turtle though, you might have come across masked meadows where something strange is now happening. Multiple purple fumes can be seen coming out of the location, and it's assumed by the community that this could be dark magic being practiced in the POI, potentially teasing Kevin the Cube. But to further back this up, if you traverse into the city's underground, you'll realize that there's been something going on there all along. There's actually a secret base built there with big technological advancements that are harnessing magic from masks and releasing it into the surface. So this could be the secret storyline plot being teased with the new character Daigo. And there's another skin which was teased that nobody's noticed, because we already know a handful of the upcoming Winterfest rewards, but in the music cover you can see a bird, who you guessed it is a Christmas skin and could possibly be one of the Winterfest outfits that we see arrive. And speaking of Winterfest, we have two characters who we already have confirmed to be coming. This is the Winterfest Snoop Dogg and Shaquille O'Neal. The text "Get ready for Snoop Dogg on the stoop" was added in the files, which some people will know is a quote from this toy in his merch, meaning that we should see this Santa-ified version of Snoop Dogg arrive. With Chapter 1's return as a permanent mode on a whole other island, Epic still managed to sneak in an Easter egg that few noticed. You may remember last year for the Fortnite OG key art, Fortnite actually showed us the other side of the original Chapter 1 Season 1 key art featuring Jonesy looking behind him to see the time-traveling skins. And now Epic has done it again. In the new key art for Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 1, you can actually see that it's a continuation of the famous supply drop loading screen, and that's something they may continue doing for every Chapter 1 season that's gonna be replayed. And speaking of Chapter 1 and its secrets, another Easter egg that might have caught your attention is available for everyone on the new Chapter 6 island. That's right, simply traverse back to the map's outskirts and you won't help but notice that the big wooden crab from Chapter 1 has made his return. This was part of the many animals built by either wood, brick, or metal back in Chapter 1, and so we can assume this is a neat Easter egg to celebrate Chapter 1's return. And alongside the return of Chapter 1 though, it's likely we're going to see the return of another familiar face, which is being teased with a new skin. Of course, I'm talking about everyone's favorite Peely, who Epic can't stop making new skins for. It's almost guaranteed every season he's bound to get a new one, and this time is no exception, because in-game you can find a small secret on the clothing of the Kendo skin, and it looks to be a cucumber Peely. He even has his emote in the battle pass where he slices up some cucumbers, so this definitely looks to be a teaser for a new skin coming soon. And the chapter 1 references don't end there though, as on the chapter 6 map lies a huge trap that is a callback to one of the most popular chapter 1 moments. While exploring the new island, you might have come across a hill with a classic sign from chapter 1. These told players not to dance, but back then if you did it, there were no consequences. But now, the inhabitants of the island have stepped it up, because if you emote now, you're going to be launched off the hill to your inevitable death. And something else true OGs are bound to remember is a small detail on a classic weapon that's making its return. Epic heard our prayers and are giving us all the OG models for the OG weapons in the new OG game mode. And with that, an iconic reference could now be found again on the TAC shotgun. Take a look at it and you'll realize that it still has the same snake game on its little iPad after 5 entire years. In addition to the return of that, we almost have nearly every OG model of weapon back. The revolver, pump, but that also includes Fortnite's very own guided missile. Files related to it have now been updated, so we could expect to see it coming to OG soon. It was originally added in Chapter 1 Season 3, so in about 3 months time, give or take, it may be coming. Because as you can see, Chapter 6 is full of its references, and there's many lying inside of the new POIs. There's dozens from Whiffy Wharf to Lost Lake, Night Shift Forest, Shogun Solitude, you get the idea. But if you head over to the 1000 Phases shop over at Masked Meadows, you'll spot that there's many masks referencing different Fortnite characters. You can see Cluck, a Kitsune mask hinting at Catalyst, Fishstick, Meowscles, and even some new ones. But the most notable mask of them all is teasing a brand new outfit. You might remember a leaked survey skin from a while back showing a baboon skin. And now you can spot his mask alongside the other familiar characters, so it's an indication we should see his skin very soon. What we could also be seeing soon is a new iconic crossover with one of the most successful animated franchises ever. In a new line of dialogue by the Empress Mizuki NPC, she references a dragon warrior, and you might already know where this is going. This could very well be foreshadowing the arrival of Kung Fu Panda as a collab in Fortnite. How a post skin would work is a concern to many people, but we're already seeing the Godzilla skin, so it's clear Epic can make anything do, and it remains to be seen whether or not this is actually going to happen. But a big reference, however, to one of Chapter 1's most dazzling mysteries is hidden in the Twinkle Terrace POI. If you happen to pay a visit, you'll see that in it there's a house fully dedicated to one of Fortnite's oldest factions, the Fox Clan. Inside you'll find references to all their members like drift flags or the outline of others such as V, Vox, Kimiko, Five Tails, and even their pet Kitsune. The craziest part is that it was foreshadowed years ago in the V loading screen, where we see members of the Fox Clan running around in an unknown POI. And after all this time, we finally got this place. But another reference to the Chapter 1 story is that of the mysterious artifact that's fallen from the sky into the Chapter 6 map. In its place, you can find a crater referencing the events of the meteor from Chapter 1, but the artifact itself is nowhere to be found just yet. So it looks like this will be something we have to keep an eye on for throughout the entire season. The strange object wasn't the only thing that crashed on the map though, as by the looks of it, Fortnite's already referenced Chapter 2 remix. Traversing the new snow mountains, you might have come across a strange crashed plane. Not only is it a reference to Chapter 2 remix, which we just left, but also a callback to Chapter 5 as well, where we saw a similar crashed plane atop snowy mountains, which now leads players to think that there's somehow a connection between the three and their recurring appearances. Another connection many people notice is that of a similarity between a new POI and one from Fortnite Chapter 3. You might have seen Hopeful Heights or even visited it, which is a brand new location themed entirely around our new protagonist, Hope, and players couldn't help but notice that this is very similar to the time that Jonesy got his own whole POI themed around him back in Chapter 3 in the form of the Joneses. This is a pretty neat callback considering Jones has been a mentor to Hope for the last 4 seasons, and now you could even find both of them living under the same roof, plotting their next move on the new island. But beneath the island, you can also find a hidden basement with a few interesting Easter eggs from Chapter 2. The one you won't help but instantly spot is the gnome from Chapter 2, who had once taken over another similar basement as his base of operations, and now he's done it again. In the same room, you can also find Midas's gold chair, which we have no idea how it ended up here, but it's cool to see nonetheless. And it's not the only secret place